And welcome to the latest episode of Near Mist, which is my Let's Build set in the game of Enshrouded. And if you remember, the premise of the game is that there was a cataclysmic disaster, basically the introduction of a... I think I might get attacked here. Oh no, it's just after sheep. Anyway, a lot of people lost their lives due to the introduction of the elixir, which kind of led to a drug-addled arms race that resulted in everybody being either killed or zombified or addled. and that's the game we're in. But our focus is having a safe space to exist. And now I've been tasked with rescuing the blacksmith, but to rescue the blacksmith is one thing. The blacksmith is going to require a roof over his head and a place to stay in general, and that's what we're still working on. Actually, we're working on kind of an old inn type thing for me, and then make some for them. No, not on. Ow! Lay down, you're dead. And I think we just found breakfast. So, rush back to the fireplace and cook up some victuals. Whee! So the whole premise of the series, of course, is that Enshrouded is an action RPG adventure game, and I beg to differ. I'd say it's a fantastic building game, and all the other stuff's in there, certainly, but I think it's a building game first and foremost. And here we are, now this is just a little over 2 hours into the game, and look at this place I've built. I mean, yes, it's the most basic materials and not particularly comfy looking, but it's still pretty impressive what you can do with this game, even at this early stage. And for this first base and this first tier of materials, we are kind of going for a Dark Ages vibe. Sometime between the fall of the Roman Empire and the early Middle Ages, which covers quite a long time. But things didn't change a whole lot in all that time. People were just doing their best to survive, and that's kind of summing up what's going on here in Enshrouded. Like I said, all the normal people have been killed or transformed into scavengers, which we will run into soon enough. And a handful of normal people did in fact survive, but they kind of survived by being having their souls encapsulated. Some of them were saved inside a chamber kind of like the one I was in, but for some reason they're not considered flameborn. And others were just their soul is lost out there, and we'll recover it and be able to bring them back with a summoning staff. But this is the view, and that red smoggy area is not in fact smog. That is the shroud as well. It's just that blue shroud is bad in that it will eventually kill you. Red shroud is really bad in that it will kill you within seconds. So important safety tip: stay out of the red shroud, and the blue stuff's bad enough. So there we go. And then there's a mushroom here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Right behind me. And of course, there's a lot of crafting to this game as well. Now, one of the interesting things is crafting is a little more complex than it would be in other games. Normally in other games, you unlock recipes, or you have the recipes, you just got to find the resources, and then you make the stuff yourself. And sometimes you make it yourself, or you have to get a specialized workstation to make it. But in this game, there's some stuff you can make yourself, and then when you rescue certain craftspeople, that does two things. One, it opens up some of the recipes you can make yourself, and there's a bunch of recipes that they know how to make. So now you want to keep them around, and workstations still play into it because you'll need to build those workstations for either them to do the work or you to do the work. So we will have to keep that in mind when we build our space. But let's finish this first building. I'm not sure what to call it. The inn, the tavern, my house. But right now, let's go ahead and extend the chimney. Trying to figure out what piece would allow me to extend the chimney quickly and efficiently. I think what I should, this is terrain. What I need to do is I need to go to the large size, the 4-meter tile set, and let's try this pillar. So their snap mode is interesting. That there's a snap mode and a loosey-goosey snap mode for blocks, and for furniture, it's a snap mode or no snap mode. In this case, we can see I used the blocks one. That looks a lot better. Now we're gonna place the end of the gables like so. And if you live in the northern hemisphere, and most people do, we are well into fall, headed toward winter, and it's that most cozy time of the year. When I set those down, I didn't pay close enough attention. I want to make sure that I set the pieces the same on both ends, because otherwise, if it's close but not quite right, it's going to be messy when we put on the roof. There. But yeah, so it's the cozy time of the year, and these games, you can often invoke kind of the same feeling of coziness, right? It's one of the reasons I like them, because like, for example, it's hot outside, it's summer, people are sweltering, and you go into your game and you play, so you're in a nice frosty biome or running down a glacier. It doesn't really make you cooler, but you've got those icy thoughts, right? You can almost feel the cold on your skin, and it helps. It does help. We're going to carve out a little window up here. Not really one for looking out, but rather one for letting light in. And I'm pretty sure I can make a 3x3 window. Insert. It's going to be pretty primitive looking. Mostly sticks, but... Let's see. Scroll down. And there we go. Nothing totally fancy, but... Still, I think it will look good. Now we gotta put this into snap mode and snap. Looking good. This tree is kind of a bother. So we will unbother it. Hello, Mr. Tree. I want to ask you something. There we go. The thing is, the tree is just, I believe it's just outside the property line, which means it will respawn over and over again. But it's out of the way for now. That'll help me get the roof on. Okay, what else we got? I was kind of hoping that I could make a ladder. I'm pretty sure I have to find the carpenter before I can make a ladder, and I think the carpenter's got to make the ladder for me, but for now I can use this big scaffolding piece, and it is big. Watch this. Look at that. Takes up most of this room. So it does have a ladder built in. But I'm up here. You can see almost forever from here. Let's see. Now, here's the thing. When you're making gabled roofs in Enshrouded, obviously we have the wall on the end is kind of at an angle, but it's not a clean angle, right? It's kind of a stair step. And those stair step corners stick up through the roof, as you can see. Now, for now, I'm leaving those there. Generally, people agree the way to avoid that is to just put a second layer of roof on top. Okay, look at my clothes. I am not rich, not by any stretch of imagination. I'm not even like middle class. I'm not even close to middle class. I mean, you know, I'm like dirt poor. So look, if this is what I'm wearing, you know, having the resources to double roof everything, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And I place the walls so that I have a couple blocks of overhang within our designated building space. Now we just gotta cap it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and finish the walls on the ends. Just place a few blocks. There we go. And now we can cap the roof, and they've got pieces just for that. And as a reminder, these pre-built pieces are huge time savers in both setting up and tearing down, but the greatest flexibility and potential comes from placing individual blocks of a building material. You know what? That's not quite right. It works on one side, but on the other, it's too high up. What I might do is just switch to the small side pieces and have them touch at the top. Like this. And that comes out pretty well. Now, one of the cool things about the building system in Enshrouded is that it has great awareness about context, like where a piece sits, and what materials it's connected to or what pieces it's connected to. And so pieces will adapt and morph based on that context. So, for example, like these pre-built pieces are all made up of just, this case, like the thatch roof piece, right? They're all the same, but you can see that like the pieces on the edges or where they connect to the top, they adapt themselves based on where they are and the pieces that are around them. And it's very cool. It allows you to actually do a lot of different things with different pieces and different materials that you normally wouldn't get to do. I mean, I don't have a lot of different options to choose from now, but later on we'll show you what I'm talking about, where you have different pieces from different materials that can be used in different ways depending on what pieces are next to them. Now what I'm doing here is I forgot to actually build the chimney all the way up through the roof, so we're cutting it back down to the chimney, and then we'll build the chimney up to the roof. And because essentially it is a voxel based system, we can do it one voxel at a time. No. My big butt's in the way. Okay. Here we go. I originally tried, when I first built chimneys like this, I would then put a campfire down in there. But it doesn't work. For one thing, when you place campfires, there are temporary things, right? If you place the campfire, you can definitely get it to burn, but then it will eventually burn out, and then you can't keep it going. And I think that's the worst part of it right there, is just like it's temporary. Now, the chimney needs to be a little higher so that we don't set our thatch roof on fire. Now, that's not something that happens in the game. The game couldn't care less, but if this was real life, you'd want the chimney up a little bit. Well, it's a little lopsided, and that's because the building is built with an odd number of blocks on the side. It still looks pretty good. And the chimney is an even number of blocks, so I'll need to Oh, that eave is uneven. So we need to trim a layer of voxels off of that. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. So I can run over here and kill them like so. Okay, that looks much better. And, take a look at this from all the different angles. Oh boy, that chimney is going to drive me nuts. I mean, nothing wrong with it, it's just that it's... So we'll make it an odd number of blocks as well. That looks better, except for the very top. I just got to get back up there. And I think I might be able to... Nah, it's pretty high. I mean, later on, we'll get a double jump, and yeah, I could make that easy, but... that's the future. In the now, I can't make that jump. I will need to kind of give myself a running start here. That work? Ugh, guess not. That's enough. Okay. So let's knock these out and then extend our chimney. Oops, wrong block. Like so. I don't normally like the making these type of tweaks just for cosmetic purposes, right? But it is what it is. And that looks much better. Okay. And on the inside, we don't have to adjust anything. It looks just fine. And except for the fact that I've done all of this in front of you, showing you my secret, so to speak, nobody would know. I want to pick up the scaffolding. And normally I would have the pickup prompt, but I can't see it anywhere. I think I'm just going to have to point and trust that it's there. That worked. Okay. Now, let's see. Things are looking pretty good in here. I just want to go ahead and take these center posts and connect them with a little bit of a truss framework here. Support beams. Now, the one thing I don't like about this basic wooden pieces is these beams are basically like compound structures, right? You've got some frames, and then you have, you know, logs and stuff within that frame. I would have preferred to actually have, like, you know, a log beam, like the beam is made out of a log, an intact log. But you know, we'll live with it for now. And then when we get to some of the other building materials, it looks a lot better. It looks more like a beam, loosey-goosey collection of sticks. Now this is a flop house bed. Basically a straw mattress wrapped in a cloth cover. sitting on top of a hard floor. You'll wake up with a crick in your back for sure, but it is better than nothing. But not by much. Kind of dump pieces off over here. Now, eventually, we will want to build a proper storage system, and Enshrouded has. Let's use up some of these twigs. They've got a cool mechanic where you can make chests and even better ones than I got here, and you can put stuff in them. Yay, but that's pretty standard. But what they do allow is you can make magic chests, and where magic chests come into their own is that when you have stuff in magic chests anywhere in your base, then whenever you use a workstation in that same base, it can automatically pull from the magic chests, right? And so, dropping stuff off in the magic chest can be a bit of a hassle, especially because there's a lot of different pieces and parts that you can collect. And then, so the hassle then is like finding places for all of it. But then accessing them is a breeze. You don't have to go get the pieces you need. You can just go to the workstation or the crafter you want to build from, and the pieces are right there. But the trick to magic chests is that they require some magical bits from some of your fell opponents, and that requires some camping and farming, but we'll get that. I mean, it's part of the process, kind of an organic process. So let's go ahead and plop down a table and some stools. No, like I said, we're still working with a very rudimentary Iron Age type structure. So dirt floor it is, rough wooden furniture, basic furniture and lighting. I could have swore I made a nightstand or a side table. I mean, I saw it in the build menu. There it is. I just didn't make one, apparently. Am I sure I didn't make one? Scaffolding? No, didn't make one. I made one now. It looks like something I would have made in 7th grade wood shop, though probably sturdier. Oh gosh. And then we'll turn off snap and kind of pop this in place, and we'll place my Firefly bottle on top of that. And yeah, it may be rude and crude, but it's kind of cozy homey. But there's still a lot to do. Now, with that done, what I would like to do is build at least a couple of cottages for our guests. I'm just checking to see if there's something else I need. Oh, yeah, this fence pieces. Let's go ahead and grab one of each of these. That is the... Now that looks like something also I would have come up with in wood shop. in 7th grade. But let's go ahead and place these upstairs so that people don't fall down our stairwell. Now, by people, I mean it could be NPCs or anybody, but since it's just me, people means me. Make sure I don't fall down the stairwell. Now, this game is very much a matter of, you can take stuff. I mean, this is really developed as a fence. We'll use it as a banister. But, I mean, this game goes way beyond that, where you can take pieces and put them down in the game world at any old angle, right? You rotate them any which way. And this is how you can make you can take things that are designed to be one thing and place them in the game world in such a way that they look like they're something completely different. And it's nighttime, so let's go ahead and grab some of the nighttime goodies like moths and fireflies and these glowing blue flowers. I think they're called midnight lilies or something like that, but they're consumable and they give you some cool benefits for running around the shroud. Midnight lily, yep. Anyhow, what was I saying? I was saying something about so now normally I'm not a big fan of that type of mechanic, right? I mean, vanilla Minecraft, we did that for years, right? In vanilla Minecraft, you can't sit down, so they don't really have chairs, but people would make chairs, and they would make chairs from like stair pieces with signs on the side and all this, and so you eventually make something that looks like a functional object, which doesn't function. I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer to have a functional object that actually does function. But when we're talking about things like bridges or something, that's really what we're talking about in this game, right? You can take, like they have different like clay urns and, you know, coffins and stuff that you can flip around and turn on the side, and you can make them look like flagstones and all sorts of stuff. So, and when it comes to something like a flagstone, ooh, so it's probably where a wolf killed a sheep. So we got the fur. Thank you very much. But when you talk about something like flagstones or the side of a bridge, it's not really functional per se, right? It's there. It's part of a structure. And I think that's where that type of, cosmetic repurposing works. And this game's full of that, so. But we're not there yet. Okay. Grab some of the local resources. Now we kind of, what I would like to do, this wall is obviously too low. Not much point in having a wall if any passerby can just like jump over it, including and especially me. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend the wall upward just a little bit. That's too much. That's right. Okay. And this will work. Now, in this neighborhood, I mean, this is essentially the newbie zone. And so, walls are purely cosmetic. I mean, you saw that I left room for a gate, but I didn't actually put a gate in. Whoa. Hey, my walls aren't lined up here. Who's the bozo that did that? Oh, well. I didn't mean to kill that one. I meant to kill this one. Okay. Well, as the bozo responsible for making the problem, I'm the bozo responsible for fixing it. But since I'm the only bozo in the game, I'm the default choice for everything along those lines. So both who made it that way and who's got to fix it. So let's trim this off. And then back to extending the wall upward. Again, it would have been cool to have like a wooden palisade. I mean, you can see right there to the right, they've got a wooden palisade, right? Just logs sticking up and bolted or tied together to make a fence. I would have liked to have had that option. This kind of works though. I'm running out of wooden pieces. I do, one of the things I really like about this game world too is, yeah, there are beasties in this game world and bad guys, and they can be found almost anywhere, and they can and will attack. But even with that said, this is it's a pretty game world and an incredibly calm and peaceful one, right? I mean, here it's the night, and you know, there might be something bad out here. That wolf will respawn at some point, but I hear the night noises, and it's nice. Nice starry sky, working by moonlight. And while it may be cold and autumny outside here in the game world, I'm kind of looking at this as like a summer evening. And shooting stars. I heard something. I guess I was wrong. Or maybe I did hear something, but it's nothing, right? It's the problem with ambient sounds. Okay, so we have a functional building, nothing too fancy, and we have a wall that can actually keep stuff out, except for the big hole for the gate, which I told you I'll get to that, just not yet, right? So now we want to go ahead and level out more of this land within the border of our little community. Kind of hard to do this at night, but I really don't want to sleep every night away. There are times I'll definitely want to, but not right now. I think that one's too low. Well, maybe not. And then we'll fill up the space with the dirt road blocks. I think I went just a tad too deep there, but now this isn't necessary, right? But I mean, it's kind of true of the whole the whole building process. For the game purposes, the building I built is overkill, right? I mean, I don't even have to put in doors or windows. All I have to do is have a roof and throw a bed in there, and have a bed for every NPC, and we're good, right? That's all you have to do to satisfy the needs of the game. And for some people, that's what they do, right? Because that's not what they're here for. They're here to go bash stuff around, or find treasure or whatever, and that's cool. But I'm gonna kind of try to flatten this back out, and then put this is all stone that I'm laying down now, and then we'll put the dirt back in on top of it. And I don't like having big gaps of air underneath layers. That's why I'm putting the stone down. But this is kind of my thing, right? Is trying to build something nice here. And if you go searching, whether it's like on YouTube or just pictures, or a web search for images, or go looking on Reddit, you can see some fantastic builds in Enshrouded, right? Some really fantastic stuff using end game block stuff, and we'll get there someday, eventually. But why rush to that, right? I mean, let's explore everything the game has to offer, and to fully appreciate the fancy bits. You gotta work with and live much further down the food chain for a while to really appreciate all those other bits. So we can, I'm running out of dirt road blocks, so we can make our own 1-for-1 with the Springlands dirt, and we got a bunch of it. So, and it's everywhere, so it's not like it's super valuable or hard to come by. And that's how games like this usually work, is there's stuff that's always easy to get, and then there's stuff that's hard to get. And the stuff that's hard to get today will eventually be stuff that's easy to get tomorrow. And when that stuff becomes easy to get, then you have a whole new list of items that are hard to get, right? It's a great cycle, especially with a tiered material structure. Nice and flat. Dirt. Now, let's clear this thing away. And I think what I want to do is I want to kind of mostly complete this side of our little outpost. So I want to kind of level the ground all the way to that corner, and then over a little bit, so that and it's actually, I remember, it's a lot easier to get everything to line up if you just keep building piece next to piece all at once, like this. Then you don't lose your place. Right. Their implementation of Voxel World is pretty good. I've played a number of voxel-based systems, some better than others, and this implementation is pretty darn good. And as a builder, I really appreciate that. You know, it kind of gets me curious, because when you think about, like, when they developed the game, right? Obviously, they knew they were going to build like an action RPG from the get-go. The question is like, at what point was building always a piece of it? And the building system that we have now, was that always a piece of it, or was you know, building added as kind of just like it's there, and then at some point somebody on the team is into builders and said, but we could make this pretty cool in its own right? There's no reason we have to keep it. It's just, bare bones. It just, I don't know. I don't even know if that's documented anywhere, but it would be interesting. A case where that comes up, that type of thinking comes up, is there's a survival game called Icarus, right? It takes place on a moon 5 light years away from Earth. And originally the game was designed to be played as missions. So there's a game world, and you go down for each mission, and every time you go down for a mission, you basically essentially start over, right? The game world's reset, and you got to build whatever you need to build for that mission. And then, but they had all the pieces in place to make an awesome open world game. And so after this thing had been out for a while, they went ahead and said, yeah, let's give people the open world option. And it's awesome, right? I really, really love the open world play. But you see, that was, again, was one of those things where, to my way of thinking, the open world was that was the starting point. But for them, they passed that, right? They said, no, let's just do this mission thing. Nobody's doing it like this. And that is a pretty clever design, pretty cool. But man, the open world is it's one of those things where if you build all the pieces for a good open world game, but you don't actually support the open world format, that's just crazy. And yeah, at some point they must have come to the same conclusion. So they support open world, and I don't know. My guess is maybe most people play the open world. Grab some more wood, top off the tank, so to speak, so we can make some more building pieces. But now, of course, it's Enshrouded is an open world with a capital O. And it's one of the reasons really why I love it so much, because a lot of role-playing games are very linear in nature, right? Traditional role-playing game has an overarching plot, and to advance the plot, there's a main quest line and maybe some side quest lines, but the quest line basically takes you from point A to B to C to D, and then you eventually finish the game. And you take different routes, and some of the fancier games, like say Baldur's Gate, you can have different final destinations. So not as many as they claim, because there's only a few real endings, and how all the different side plots is really where the differences are. But that's neither here nor there. That's so you're always working toward that goal. And if you have something like base building or whatever, then that's just stuff to keep you distracted along the way. In this game, there are a number of quests, right? And there are main quest lines, but we never really... I haven't played it all the way through. I've gotten basically 80% of the way through on it, and I don't think you ever finish it, right? I don't think you ever, you're done and, fireworks go up and the kingdom's restored and the shroud goes... That doesn't happen. That does not... it may happen someday. This game is still not done, right? Still, technically in early access with version 1.0 expected to be in the spring. But at the rate we're trending, I don't think it ever ends. So with that said, there's stories to be told for sure, but it's not. This isn't a storytelling game. It's I guess the way to look at it is it's a lot like Diablo, where you run out and you just bash stuff and get treasure, and then you come back and you do something with the treasure and you go out again. The difference between Diablo and this is that we've got this whole base building element in between, so when you go get your stuff, you have a place to go back to, and something to do with your stuff besides upgrade your weapons, right? And buy new magic items. Here, you can create something as a base, right? Your base of operations, whether you want that to be a little cozy cottage, or a big old grand castle. I mean, there's NPCs are always there, so it's always a village-like element to it, or just a big box that you throw everything. I mean, whatever floats your boat. And that's the part that really caught my imagination, is that you can take this as far or make it as complex or simple as you want. That's really appealing to me. So I think that's the outline of one, and what I'd like to do is put another one right next to it. Basically same dimensions. And that should be big enough. So let's see. So the next one will just basically do the same thing. Like so. And then we can cut out our doors and windows. When I first started playing the game, I really relied on using the pre-builts for everything, including the placement of doors and windows, right? Because a lot of them have doorways and windows built into them. And then but that's kind of like a starting point. From there, I've really kind of grown accustomed with the idea of just setting up my walls where I want them first, and then cutting out the doors and windows based on the actual placement of the walls. And doing it that way gives me a great deal more flexibility about where I place things and how I place things. And so things come out a little less cookie cutterish, right? Because things might not necessarily be on the same scale or at the same spacing that they would be if you stuck solely to the presets. Now, what I'm kind of thinking, the space between the inn and these NPC cottages would be a really good workspace, because I know what's going to happen, right? We're going to have blacksmithing tools and stuff like that, drying racks, forges. So I kind of want to measure out some space and then place some pillars, because what I want to do is I want to put like a flat roof, like an overhang at the end of this building, so that we'll have some of the space uncovered and some of the space be covered. Because let me tell you, if you have this piece, I'm going to eyeball in the middle like that. Have you ever been to a blacksmith shop, a working blacksmith shop, right? Oops, I'm off by one. Like at Knott's Berry Farm, they used to have a blacksmith shop. Guy was out there hammering on real stuff of a forge. it gets hot in there, you know? So, yeah, if you're foraging stuff during the winter, you might want to forage indoors. But, you know, if it's summer, you know, you definitely would want a roof to keep the rain off your head. But otherwise, you might want to work out in the open a little bit with better ventilation and such. But so that's what we'll do there. And again, you know, I'm not real thrilled with these, the posts with this wooden building set, but we'll get better ones soon enough. Just trying to figure out 3, 4, 5, 6 thin beam. Oh, the morning's coming, so this we can extend the patio around and over to the main house, the inn or whatever we're calling it. It's not what I wanted. Now let's try to put gables on the end of these buildings. Oops, that doesn't. Well, maybe it works. Let's try this one. No. No. Let's just go at it from a slightly smaller scale and work our way toward the middle. So we're over one. If we do the same thing here, and then that would mean this one comes over like that. Okay, that's much better. It's pretty high up there. Is that gonna work side to side, or is it? Space is too small for two of these. Yeah, the space is too small for two of those. I'll have to go up and finish this by hand. I got the scaffolding, right? Let's take a look from here. I think it's coming together. Oh, gosh. My hour's up. That went fast. That went very fast. Okay. Let's try to finish these gables. Now this was an even number, so we're going to face slightly different challenges than we did with the big building. Oh, okay. You know, the problem is, since everything's made from the same material, I have absolutely no contrast. So, you know, trying to pick up the scaffolding again. Let's do it from here. That worked. So it's kind of hard to tell building A from the wall from building B. Yeah, we'll have to. That'll start changing here when we start adding more roof pieces and various accoutrements. But you can start to see how this is coming together. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let's take a look. So it's already kind of homey. I'm pretty thrilled with it. I mean, especially for a starter base, right? This is coming together. Now, we will go ahead and finish these two little cabins, and we'll finish that patioed workspace, and then we'll put some stuff in the cabins. And I don't think that'll take long. And then, for better or for worse, we will try to go release the blacksmith, or die trying. And I say that completely literally. But it'll be good. Once we get the blacksmith, we should be able to up our game up, so to speak. And that's it. So I think I'm really excited about how this is turning out. I hope you're kind of digging what you're seeing, and glad you came. And I hope that you will join us in our next episode of Near Mist. And until then, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps just a touch of good fortune. Cheers.